My name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
This is Nigeria Info.
Day celebration to Christians in Abuja, Nigeria, and all over the world. And I'm sure that as Christians, we're embodying what the resurrection of Christ represents in our life and manifest it every single day. Thank you for staying with 95.1 Nigeria Info, your passionate, trustworthy, and conversational radio station. And my name is Kimberly Nwachukwu. Call me Kim, you're correct, or you can call me the Oracle, the digital Oracle. You can call me OTF, that's Oracle, the fellow Madam Speaker, and I'll say yes to them all. I was asking Debbie, she was reeling out a very tall list of, this one, that one. I was like how many, seriously? And how? I actually thought some time back that she used to write them on a piece of paper and then read from that piece of paper because it was so long. But then she actually knows everything in the right sequence and in the right order. She don't cram them. Debs, thumbs up to you. But thank you. Thank you so much for staying with us. And I'm sure you've been having a fantastic time. Amazing conversation we've been having on 95.1 Nigeria Info all day. And I will ensure that I do not drop the ball. I'll keep the conversation going. I had to prep myself when I got into the studio because I just came in from a trip. I went to see my parents in Kaduna and just straight from the road to the studio. If you're looking into the studio, because we're live on Facebook and YouTube, and you think that, Kim looks a tad exhausted, it's because of the trip and the road. All right. But aside from that, I am good to go, and we're going to have a fantastic time on the show. If you're wondering about YouTube and Facebook, we're at Nigeria Info ABJ. That's for YouTube, and Facebook at Nigeria Info ABJ. As we start off the show looking at some of the big stories driving conversation in the country today. And it's a public holiday. We're not going to bring too much of the intensity to our conversation today. We're going to try and kind of like make it nice and easy and build up the tempo by tomorrow. So we're also going to have some, easygoing conversation much later after we're done with the roundtable. Because the roundtable, no matter how hard you try to make it a bit easy and laid back, as long as you're talking about trending stories in this country, I feel like even when we eventually get our flag flying on the moon, or we send our own Curiosity rover to Mars, or we discover something that the world has not discovered before, it will still come with some intensity. We're just intense people generally. We're easygoing, but there's always an intensity to everything, Niger. Maybe we'll change with time when things improve. So yeah, the roundtable comes with that hint of intensity also. But it'll be great. It'll be awesome. And I'm flying solo. If you're listening on the What's Happening Abuja show, Itodo was in short, as a matter of fact, Itodo, if you're listening, I actually do miss you on the show. He said, he was going to be on What's Happening Abuja. My heart broke. I'm like, man, coming from a trip, I wish he was here with me, but he's not. And he's not going to be here tomorrow also. But I've got you, right? I've got you, babe. And I know that you're going to tag with me from now to the end of the show. They're going to keep me intellectually engaged all through the conversation and mentally, emotionally, and all the ways you can engage an individual with the conversation we have. So thank you in advance for sticking with me and keeping me company all through the show. As I keep you company, we're helping each other out here, all right? It's a two-way traffic. So thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. We'll look at some of the big stories, some of the stories, not all of them, driving conversation, and you start to wonder what's really happening. It's a holiday. Any big deal? Yeah, letters have been reading, not like a letter, but hey, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, did put out a message, as much as every other person did. There was a message from the president and others who were celebrating Christians and also reminding the Muslims that, yes, we know that you're still in the holy month of Ramadan and we look forward to, celebrating with you when you're done. with this religious responsibility that is required as a Muslim. But it's Easter now, and that was put out. But one reason why I'm bringing it up is because he started his tweet with "Dear Obedient," and then it got trending, and everybody's talking about it. Well, the Obedient, not like every single person. They seem to kind of like be excited that they were addressed as a my obedient, not the obedient, my obedient. And so it started trending as much as he wrote quite a number of other stuff about long suffering and sacrifice for the country, seeing that they've had to go through quite a lot. Let's just read a bit of it before we get into other aspect of the story. And I think if you check on our YouTube and Facebook page, you would see... Did I see just the brain drain story? Binga. All right, then. I think I didn't send all of it to him, but I'm sure he's going to edit it and put the rest part of it. Obedient said, Obedient must bear attacks as sacrifice for new Nigeria, says Obi. So it feels, when we're talking about this attack, it's quite interesting because, on the other side of the pond, it would be like, Obedient are the ones who are aggressive, who are attacking, who are, a bit more forward and do not want to hear a different opinion or criticism of their actors, key actors, and the likes of it. And then on the part of the Obedient is like, the case of long suffering, we're the ones being attacked, you're the ones being, boxed in a corner, you're the ones having all kinds of machinations set up against you and stuff like that. It's quite interesting, actually, where we are at the moment, given the fact that you have the ruling party, which is the party also that would continue, all things being equal, and then this movement, which is beyond political to also people who are saying, you know what, we are running through this individual. So it makes it a bit more different from just a political movement to people who just believe that perhaps it's the time for the change that they perceive at that point in time. I'm just saying all of this just to wait for the news, that particular one to pop up, and then I'll share that with you. But let's see if I have it here. A bit of the detail. If you're looking at some of the trending stories, there's one of it, all right. In a series of tweets on Monday, Obi said he and Dati Baba Ahmed, his running mate, are pained that their supporters, popularly known as Obedient, are being attacked because they choose to stand by them. The former governor of Anambra State said the alleged plot to demarcate the Obedient movement would fail. Dati and I are painfully mindful that for the mere reason of being obedient, most of you have suffered vituperations, physical attack, loss of rights and privileges, hateful trolls, indignity, and vexatious fighting words, even from some of those we long regard as civil leaders and conscience of our nation. He tweeted, please bear such attack as the sacrifices that we're all required to make in order to create a new Nigeria where justice, equity, fairness, love, and prosperity shall reign. Be assured that Dati and I are with you, and the ongoing unfortunate orchestrated effort to the market delegitimize the Obedient movement will fail. We're fully structured and will remain focused and steadfast in addressing the ill in our nation while underpinning the supremacy of our constitution and imperativeness of the rule of law. Do not relent and do not be lured into unnecessary conflict. Be assured that in the fullness of our time, our mission to rescue Nigeria from those engaged in state capture will come to fruition. He had quite a lot to say, actually. But I think the key part of it that trended was the my obedient aspect of it that endeared to quite a number of people who were part of the movement in setting that message. And it's an interesting one. It will also be interesting to look at how this is going to, affect the dynamic of leadership of the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu when he gets in there. Because if you have, on the side a movement and that is already opposed to what the president-elect stands for, he would need to double effort to just get that buy-in from this critical mass, which is basically made up of a lot of young people if you're looking at the demographic of people who make up the Obedient. So it's going to be the president-elect really applying himself at his job and whatever it is intend to achieve to get these people to understand that, all right, I know you don't like me. Remember his acceptance speech there? A lot of people were surprised by his win. They didn't really want him. However, He's there to just win their heart. I'm paraphrasing now. Don't say that's exactly what he said, but going to work for every single person at this point in time. So it's left for him to translate those words into action to saying, even though you never really wanted me, however, seeing that I emerged the winner, and I am going to do all I can to get you to believe that, or to eventually see it was God's will for Nigeria and the very best for the country that he emerges, given the work, the policy, his governance style, the unity strategy that he's going to employ, and all whatnot. It's going to help a long way to deciding if you're going to have, a movement of people who are always tackling. By tackling, I mean, when you have a government in power and every initiative they put out and it's heavily criticized, half the time the narrative is tweeted to a point where you're not even seeing the good in it, you're only seeing the negative in it. That's the danger when you don't have a large number of people favorably disposed to what you're doing. And so the president-elect would have to, go all out to ensure that I'm not speaking for just OBIdients, but to get young people and people to see the vision of what he has for the country at the moment. And talking about vision, also in one of the big stories is what Reverend Bishop Kukah wrote to the president-elect. We know that Bishop Kukah is also known for writing letters, or during his home leave, Christmas, Easter, a Christian celebration, or sometimes, randomly, he could just put out his words there. But we have seen in the past 7 years, in the lifespan of President Buhari, particularly in the last 4 of it, that Bishop Kukah has been known to put pen to paper and write quite a lot of his thoughts as to the leadership style and the outcome of that leadership style of President Buhari. And a lot of it have been greeted with hostility from the presidents in terms of how they respond, either Femi or Garba. We've seen how they respond to the message there put out by Bishop Kukah. So this is a new government coming in, and they're saying, hey, we're setting agenda for you. Task on judiciary, election, on how to govern the nation. And, that bit of benefit of doubt is saying, let's hope you do it a lot different. The Bishop of Sokoto Diocese of the Catholic Church, Matthew Kukah, on Sunday, in his Easter message, asked Nigerian President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu to make keeping Nigerians alive his first priority on assuming office. Number 1, security. I'm hopeful, he said, that you would appreciate that the most urgent task facing our nation is not infrastructure or the usual cheap talk about dividends of democracy, which is the rhetorics. These are important, but first keep us alive because only the living can enjoy infrastructure, the Catholic cleric said. He noted that the most urgent mission for Tinubu is to start a psychological journey of making Nigerians feel whole again. I read a bit of it and I needed time to just reflect on that psychological journey of making. And that's something we are going to talk about much later also in the show, this whole psychological journey of making whole, because there are people who feel it feels like dissociative. Is it dissonance? I'm not sure I got it right, but it's a psychological term where you almost detach. You have this out-of-body experience. You're Nigerian, but you don't feel Nigerian because of what is happening. And that's where you get the Japa movement. Everybody wants to go away from their country because there's a disconnect there. So when he's talking about making Nigerians feel whole again, what does it really mean in your interpretation? We'll get to that. Now, he went on to say, of creating a large tent of opportunity and hope for us all, of expanding the frontier of collective freedom, and of cutting the chain of ethnicity and religious bigotry. And I hear a lot of people would agree with that because more than ever, we saw it play out in this election. You can't pretend about it. You can't whitewash how much ethnicity and religion played. It had a chokehold during this election. It was so evident, so part of the election, and it was worrisome for a lot of people who felt like, geez, we should have gone past this as a nation. Well, Mr. Kukah in his message asked the president-elect to help Nigerians recover from the feeling of collective rape by those who imported the men of darkness that destroyed our country. Whatever that means. He went on to remind the judiciary of the challenge ahead of them in light of several election petitions To the honorable justices of the bench, you face difficult challenges ahead and you are mortal. The future of our country hangs on your deliberation. I will not judge you. I can only pray that God gives you grace. It will be up to you to decide how you use that gift, which no amount of influence or power can buy, he wrote. And according to the cleric, Nigerians are saddened that the court has been invaded by political class, leaving the toxic fumes that now threaten the judiciary reputation as the last hope of our citizens. It is sad that your hard-earned reputation is undergoing very severe stress and pressure from those who want justice on their own terms. Nigerians are looking up to you to reclaim their trust in you as the interpreter of the spirit of the law. The future of our country is in your hands, the judiciary, that is. And the judges have only their consciences and God to answer to when you listen to the claims and counterclaims of Nigerian lawyers to decide the future of Nigeria. To the youth of Nigeria, I salute your energy and your courage. You fought a good fight across party line. Your engagement and involvement substantially changed the contours of our politics, he wrote. And Mr. Kukah said things would never be the same again because of young people, young Nigerians. However, the youth do not belong to any single party, no matter the temptation, he said. He admonished young people to look at the mistakes of the past and avoid them. Quite an interesting read, and it's quite detailed, actually. So you might want to see that one out on his tagged Nigeria reconciliation postponed with a question mark. It's an interesting read. You can check the detail of it out in the Premium Times newspaper has the entire length of it because he reconciliation postponed. He looked at one, Easter and our inconclusive dream. He then also wrote another piece on our 2023 election and our future. And then the hate that hate produced. You'd love that bit. And then is hatred our political inheritance? A vital question to ponder on. Why is there so much hate, so much negative energy when we get to politics and election season? Why is it built on such hostility and not intellectual prowess or something else? It feels like the strategy is to bring something, a divisive angle to it, than a common denominator to say, let's mentally, intellectually engage on why, as a country, 60 plus years, we are still incapable of distributing more than 5,000 megawatts of electricity. Why does the water level go down and we have no light, and the water level comes up and we're happy and then it goes down? This emotional roller coaster with energy is just mind-boggling. Why? Why is that intellectual depth to conversations when it comes to how we elect leaders don't come in? Or challenging people as to how much security you can provide. The number one responsibility of any government. Lives, security of lives and property. The minute you're incapable of doing that, you're just terrible at your job. That's what it translates to. And so we haven't had this kind of deep intellectual conversation as to what dynamics these individuals can bring different. Not to unravel everything because, security strategies are one you keep close to your chest. But then, they've not just been on real intense issues. Now, I know you say they had town halls and they spoke on certain things, but you know what I'm talking about when it comes to the depth of certain conversation, right? And so fell back to other, pedestrian activity. He also wrote on waiting outside the tomb, which is, the waiting outside the tomb, the resurrection of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the crucifixion, a scapegoat or a lamb of sacrifice. He's an orator, so one isn't surprised that he writes fantastically. We're angry, we want justice. He wrote that also. An appeal to all Nigerians. To our president, he wrote to him. To the honorable justices of the bench, he wrote to them. And finally, looking ahead, a prayer for Nigeria. There. Can read the detail of it in the Premium Times. All right. I mentioned that we are on YouTube and Facebook, and Ibrahim Hajara has joined me. Thank you so much. Always number one. He was just want someone to beat Ibrahim Hajara to number one. Ebere Joseph Ani Ministry says, good afternoon, Kim. Thank God is Easter Monday. We can say whoop whoop to that. Mani Namdi says, looking nice all the way. Compliments. Thank you. You're very kind. Hey B, fellow, you're looking gorgeous. Good afternoon. Thank you so much. And Lawal David Adavize. I hope I called the second name right or your last name right. Good afternoon. Good to see you. Thank you very much for your kind words. Abutu Joshua joining here on this platform, and I'm seeing Kim for the very first time. Well, we've been on the platform for a while now, so thank you for joining. Banky says, you got us, babe. You are mighty and run it for us. Highly organized OTF, please. You are not tardy, but sumptuous, like if I catch you. All right. I'm blushing. I'm too dark for you to see the color change. But thank you, Banky. Ultimate G, every election is to tackle insecurity. So the insecurity is the trademark. Power is not a major problem. Which way forward, Nigeria? And Ife Emmy Will says, good afternoon, Kim. Good afternoon to you. Bewa Taiwo, honestly speaking, you're trying. Great job. Thank you very much. You are very kind. Now, since I don't have a guest in the studio, I don't want to just go rambling on by myself. I want us to have, an engaged conversation going on. And I will throw out one more story quickly just before I throw open the phone line so that you have, a lot of the issues looked at and decide on which of them you want to talk about. Now, recall that our legislators have put a bill out that has gone through the second reading in the state, in the House of Representatives, where there is going to be a legislation, if it eventually sees the light of day, gets to the third reading committee level, that is, and eventually assented or they agree even with the Senate on this, that medical doctors would have to practice in Nigeria for at least 5 years before they are allowed to leave the country and get the required license and the likes of it, which has been greeted with, with some vexation from people who are in the industry or the sector. And also stakeholders were saying it's a little draconian if you come up with that policy. However, there's something like, doctors are leaving. As a matter of fact, I was talking with a friend of mine who was so, frustrated with how from his kid to his neighbor's kid to someone who just recently lost someone, as to how they manage the patient at the hospital. No doctor on ground. When they moved from Kubwa Hospital to the National Hospital, one person said, the doctor said it's been spread thin. No other person is on ground and is tired. He can only just refer them somewhere else because he can't attend to them after waiting almost like an hour plus. And the doctor said, I'm just tired. I've seen so many people. I can't attend to this place, but I can sign for you to take them somewhere else. I know that vexation was what he called me to say, and I just can't believe it. Eventually, they lost the person because when they got in here, National Hospital was also dragging of their feet to getting, the person put together. And, recounted several stories of people who had either died or suffered, excruciating pain because of that. And we really got talking to saying, there are a lot of dimensions to have this conversation when we're talking about health sector in the country. On the part of the health workers, they will tell you the challenges that they're going through, from the nurses and all of that to the doctors, in spite of their hypocritical oaths. That's what they call it, right? That they took, this one, working environment is this, pay is not that. We've seen them strike a couple of times. So yes, we will not pretend that they are also not faced with some very difficult work environment as the average Nigerian. Yeah? However, you would also see it from the point of Nigerians who would have to interface, because it's human body. Something would happen. People would be rushed to the hospital. And you would expect that in spite of all this challenge you're talking about, the least you can do is just be human, a doctor, in touch with your humanity, and see how you can expedite action or just attend to this person. Just that bit of humanity play out, which frustrated people when you now hear that this doctor that you thought, let's rush to the hospital, is not. I remember some time back when someone said if someone faints, it's not time for prayer, it's to rush to the hospital. Honestly, in my head, I say, we better start praying. You will rush to the hospital, one doctor will tell you, I'm spread thin. I've been attending to all the patients. We don't have enough doctors. I can only refer you. It's only your prayer at that point before you rush that can make that person attend to you or have a bed space available. So I don't think, when you're talking about mutual exclusivity, these things, they go hand in glove. You can pray and rush to the hospital also, because I promise you need the prayers. So the story is the fact that the UK is suspending the recruitment of healthcare workers from Nigeria. And yes, it's not just Nigerians, so that you don't think because they have read somewhere in the news that our health workers are coming up with, our legislators are coming up with a bill. It's Nigeria and 46 other countries, noting that the increasing scale of health and social care workers migrating from low and lower middle income countries threatens the achievement of their nation's health and social care goal. So it's not you, it's me, they're saying. It's not about you, Nigeria, or 46 other countries. We appreciate you while we needed you. However, we also need to ensure that we have that kind of healthy balance. You know how they will say if you go to the NHS, the National Health Services, the structure they have in the UK, and the chances are there that you run into a Nigerian doctor or health worker or Pakistani or Indian. They're just basically foreigners who are there in the health sector. Not just the UK, even in the US, Nigerians are so prominent in the sector there. And we're seeing that also build in places like Canada and in the Middle East. So it's about them and having that sort of healthy balance. Because even in the UK, remember some time back, their nurses were protesting over wages. It was more of the nurses who are British. And we talked about some of their doctors also leaving. Some reports gave the impression there was not enough space there. So they were all going to Canada or going to other European countries. And other papers, the angle they wrote it from gave the impression there was about better pay, better welfare than the UK was providing for. Now, because they were getting a lot of migrant healthcare providers from lower and middle income country, they were also dropping their bar a little, you know. Coming from Nigeria, go to the UK, the offer sounds impressive. And so the people there who respect more are now brought down to meet up. So some of them were also leaving. They were actually seeing a large migration of health workers from their environment. So it's all about protecting their interests, as it were. Not really about just cutting Nigerians off. So Nigeria has made the call for that red list of countries where they will not deliberately get health workers from, just to balance things up. All right, let's go to the phone line. I'll give you the detail of that in a bit. Call me up on 0700 951 0000, or you can call 0809 5974 869 or 0809 9930 137. You can leave your comment on YouTube at Nigeria Info ABJ. Facebook, I would look out for the comment on Facebook also, at Nigeria Info ABJ also. Hello?
Hello, Kimberly, my sister.
Yes, you are welcome.
Happy Easter. Hope is my name.
I wish you same, Okwi.
Issue of this our lawmakers and doctors. Please, all this our politicians, they don't know how much Nigeria spend to train one doctor. Hello?
We're listening.
Yes, they don't know how much they spend to train. Some of them don't in the National Assembly. Some don't have a primary school certificate.
Okay, easy. You would need that, Okwi. You have to, except maybe you're talking about, you would need that. You need the basic of your secondary school leaving certificate at least.
My sister, do you know how much you spend to train one doctor? Yeah? Medical doctor, even the other side of doctor, because of medical doctor that treating human beings. Yeah? So if you give them some funding, okay, do they provide the environment? Do they provide the environment? We don't give them quotas where they live. Yeah? Even if they are working, we don't pay them. And it's given that they must practice for 5 years before going out. Who likes to enter hellfire, my sister?
Okay, thank you very much. Nigeria is not hellfire. I refuse for you to describe this country in that fashion. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, you're welcome.
Yeah, this is Q calling from Uye.
All right, we're listening.
So I was really eager to call when you started this discussion, but most of the things I was calling in to say, you have actually
I've already said them already. All right.
You have mentioned them, but just for the sake of emphasis, I think on the last story, I think it's misplaced priority, and I think it's just how do you say? It's just to be seen to be doing things, just doing things without being efficient. I think that's what it really is. Nowhere in the world is it done that you deliberately keep people. You know, it is a free market. It is a matter, it is a force of demand and supply. Just like you have said, even in the Western world, the developed world, with UK being the case study, they are locally trained doctors leave. In fact, in one report, it is estimated that up to 10,000 left in 1 year.
Yeah.
I think 2021 or 2022, thereabouts. And that is why space keep opening up.
Yeah.
But then their own economy or their own place is attractive enough for other people to come. So people keep coming, people keep going. So instead of now sort of enslaving people, then you'd rather just make the place sort of livable for people than to just so I think it's misplaced, but I think it won't even see the light of the day anyway. So thank you for the opportunity.
I appreciate you for joining your voice to the conversation. Hello? Hello?
Hello. Hello, speaker.
You're welcome. Good afternoon.
Can you hear me?
Mommy Z, always a delight. Welcome.
No light, so I use my picking small phone call. I don't know whether my voice will come out too.
We can hear you loud and clear.
You are home alone, right?
Yes, I am.
Welcome. Mine is, you've not talked about PDP. You just talked about APC and Labour Party. What is happening? PDP, no, they talk again.
They're there now.
Emma? I think maybe one will come back after for you talk about it. No, it's an innocent question.
All right.
Me, I know to go school. The main opposition political party we have on paper is PDP. But today, if APC is talking, they will face either Labour Party, OBIdients, or Mr. Peter Obi. I'm not joking because Labour Party is different from OBIdients. OBIdients, Kuma, now then be Peter Obi. If you talk about the OBIdients, they will come for you, woto. Now you told us that they are not the ones that do come for people.
Hello, Mommy Z. Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. You went up for a second.
I will soon go, please. I love what Mr. Peter Obi told OBIdients. Please, don't involve in unnecessary arguments. Face your front. I will allow other people to contribute to that.
Thank you so much, Mommy Z. Hello? Oops. All right. Facebook is up now. MC Yoms, okay, should be mindful of his thought and utterances. All right, then. Anthony Ezeji, also on Facebook. Kim, I greet you. I'm happy to see your face. Anthony from Suleja, same here, even though I can see your face. And Chinyere Wanko, happy to see you. Thank you very much, Chinyere. Amazing Kim, God bless you. Thank you, Akin Lalu. Inumidu. Oh, interesting. Inumidu. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you are welcome.
Hello, good afternoon, Kim.
Good afternoon, you're welcome.
This is Ola, the Roundtable calling from Blue Bay.
You're welcome, Ola.
Let me just quickly react to the observation made by Mobizi during her last shot. You see, PDP is not like Labour Party. I'm not speaking for them. I'm not a member of PDP, but from what I've seen about the party, at least in the last 23 years, they've been in existence. It's not a lousy party. It's not a party that do things by way of mob. They don't do it. You understand? They do things meticulously, and there's a reason. Somebody like me is supporting PDP, because no matter how you describe them, no matter the kind of name you give to them, PDP is a reflection of the Nigerian society, the culture of always doing things, with decorum. You understand? That's how it's supposed to be. And so if there are some people who believe that it is by insulting people or by doing the mob thing that they can get their whatever they're targeting. If that's the best way they can get it, but fine, let them continue to do it. But people will do their own things the way they want to do it. And more so, they've gone to court. They're in the court. So let's wait for the outcome of the litigation at the tribunal, and then also the what's it called, the Supreme Court, before anybody can say anything. But I think they have exhibited a high level of decorum, and that's how it's supposed to be. Let's have that's the only way we can have peace. Do you understand? Right. No matter how we look at it, everybody is looking for a better society, but you can't do it the way of mob. You can't do it that way. Right. Let's follow due process in our things there, and I want to believe that PDP is doing. Let me just leave it that way.
All right. Very much. Thank you very much, Ola. Hello? Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Good afternoon. What's your name? The network is terrible, perhaps from your end, so please call back. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, you're welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Jacob.
All right, Jacob, you're welcome.
Thank you. I just want to comment on this bill before the Senate concerning medical doctors.
Okay.
It was my opinion that it's one of the best days that I've ever gone to the National Assembly this current time that we are. Because we say, why am I saying this? Because you look at the country today, all categories of government workers, we are having one problem or the other. We suffered a lot. All categories of government workers. Nobody is satisfied with anything or take home we are getting. Even our working environment is the same thing with that of the medical doctor. Should we, because of that, run and leave the country? Who will build the country for us? The Americans today, build it. The British today build their own. All the advanced countries you see in the world today, people suffer to build them. It is their idiots that suffer to do it. What people should advocate for is that the government should try to make sure that the number of doctors to be students to be admitted to study medicine, they should increase it in all the schools, universities in the country. Because the number of turnout of doctors too is very small compared to the population of Nigeria. That is what people should advocate for, not advocating that people must go to overseas after living here. One thing I want to point out is this. If everybody...
Jacob, is it about advocating for people to live? It's not about that, really. People are just saying it might sound a bit draconian to put a law to saying you can't leave if it's your choice.
Draconian in that law. The reason is, but you are saying that because not that they said they should not go out at all. Serve your country for 5 years. Today I'm a teacher. And I teach chemistry by the grace of God. I'm a part of it to be a teacher. I've graduated students up to, let's say, I've been teaching for the past 45 years, teaching chemistry and basic sciences. Do you know the amount of doctors I've got out? All of that, all of their standard of living are better than my own. The pharmacists. I've been many in all this area of sciences, but their standard of living is better than my own. Should I, because of that one, I say, because I'm not well paid, I should not do my job? Not that the government said they should not go out to serve your country for 5 years. Not that it's only definite. Today, if I want to go out to go and say, I see a passion outside. I have that opportunity those days when I started this work, but I refuse to go. But those my friends that go, they are not even better than me. Some of them people come back again.
All right, Jacob.
So it's the way you make your life.
All right,
so
Jacob.
The law, it's my prayer that bill should pass through the Senate and become a law.
All right.
Everybody should not leave this country. We will build the country for us, simply because we have bad leaders. Both of us that are the people they are ruling and the leaders, all of them.
All right, Jacob. All right. So your campaign is we should stop jackbarring. People should stay back and fix Nigeria. Thank you very much. Your message is crystal clear. Hello? Hello? Okay, then. Titus Obadiah on Facebook. I finally get to see your face, Kim. All right. Thank you very much, Titus. Nice seeing you also. Hello?
Mother King.
I greet you.
Good afternoon, Abby. Good evening. Now, say you assist where you and the Todo do that thing. I get confused. I don't know when.
It's good afternoon. If we leave Nigerians 1:30, they start greeting good evening. You're welcome, Destiny Anthony.
Thank you, Destiny Anthony.
Welcome.
I just want to, continue from where the last caller, stopped.
Jacob, yeah.
I feel his pain.
I know, right?
I feel his pain. He's a teacher, somebody who teaches sciences. And these are people that, what
difficult course like chemistry. I struggle with chemistry.
Very difficult course.
Jacob, I respect you, sir.
Honestly speaking, people like him. But this is the angle I'm coming from. I do not think it's okay for us to say nobody should be careful. Number one, truly I agree with him. We need to stay back and fix the country.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't just stay back and sit down and nothing is being done. Remember that some of the people who, maybe somebody who, I know a friend who studied this. The family went through a lot to put him through medical school. Now he's practicing. And the last time discussion, he said, imagine, at the answer medical doctor, I've not been able to send better money to my mom with the village with everything where she don't pass through. Now, are you telling me if somebody like that has an opportunity to leave, look for somewhere to, make some money and then send back home to, his family, that he shouldn't take advantage of that opportunity? People like me, way to travel, know they're hungry. They ever hungry me. Now, why even my passport has expired? I know I waste money, so I go renew. But at the same time, everybody, deserves to live his life the way he wants. The politicians who are making all these laws, I expected a part of that law that before you travel, you should stay behind, or nobody should travel. Once you study, you become a medical doctor, you should stay back. I expect that part of that law should say no politician should go abroad for anything, medical checkup. Let's have it. Because, Kim, if they put this law, now you are keeping our doctors here, you are not paying them well. Remember that the COVID allowance, some of them, they've not collected. People still being owed, doctors. People who save lives, you're not paying them. If you ask the last caller, something like Jacob, people like this in countries where their leaders, I don't want to use bad word, know what thing they do. People like him, the last caller, they earn better. I think was it Hong Kong or South Korea, where you teachers, they earn better than anybody, even somebody who is working in oil company. So let part of that law say that politicians should go abroad. We are still dealing. That's why tomorrow, no matter what anybody says, I don't feel anything for the one who is having issue in UK. We are going to look for an organ to save his daughter. I don't feel anything at all. Because if it were to be me, nobody will hear about this issue. Now, me or my child go just spy, the whole thing go. But because the politician, they are not saying Senate, Buhari should send help. No, if I were to be the president of Nigeria, I'm not sending any help. You have left the country with a child to go get the organ to save your own child. I don't understand.
All right,
and we come on air and you're defending. No. If he had done the right thing, encourage our doctors here, he put the medical equipment they need. There is no need for them to travel abroad. So let part of this law say that no politician should travel abroad for any medical treatment.
All right.
Once we stay here and start patronizing them, we'll be okay. Thank you, dear.
Okay. Thank you very much, Destiny Anthony there. Yeah. I'm sure Kurumadu is glad you're not the president. Hello.
Hello, Kim. Good evening.
Yes, good afternoon. You're welcome.
Good afternoon. Let me go from Destiny Anthony. My name is Chuck.
Chuck, welcome.
Kim, I beg to disagree with that chemistry teacher. He's doing well. I like him. I like people. I like teachers' nose. In fact, if you ask me to set the salaries of everybody, every civil servant in Nigeria, teachers will earn more. But unfortunately, it's not like that in our country, because it's actually teachers that produce everybody, including the politicians, so the mechanical, the engineers, so everybody, including me, myself. Now, imagine, Kim, I believe you read biochemistry. I know how much you suffered to come out of school. I know how much your mother, your father, your parents passed through to put you through in school. When you come out, you cannot even settle them, not to talk of settle yourself.
I don't. Chuck, why you? What? I don't understand. Did my mom call you to say we've not settled anything?
Not you. I'm not saying it's you. Exactly.
Oh, I see.
Using you as a figure of speech. Let me put it that way. A medical doctor, I know how much they suffer. Kim, by the grace of God, I read pharmacy. I'm not traveling to travel. I practice pharmacy in Nigeria. I do community pharmacy. I know how much I suffer to even attend to people on my own. That is my private practice. So I will sit down and be seeing patients as if I'm seeing I'm a doctor. And be there from morning till evening. Nobody, people will still be coming. Sometimes I wonder, I'm not a doctor. It's just the little I know about taking care of people. I still stay here and suffer. Because I know what I'm getting out of my own. What do Nigeria have? What has Nigeria done to these people? You suffer, you pay, you have sleepless nights, you pass, you graduate. They will say you should not leave because they don't want to create a enabling environment for you to enjoy your practice and save life. For God's sake, those people in the National Assembly, I pity them because I know it's not going to be. You can't even stop me if I want to travel.
Okay.
Thank you. They should go and ask the UK government what are they doing that are attracting people.
All
so
right.
they'll come to Nigeria and do the same.
All right then. Thank you very much.
You.
Thank you very much. Let's hear this caller next. Hello? Hello? Uh-oh.
Try again later. Dear customer, the customer you are calling is on another
Hello?
call. Please try.
Okay. Is it from you? We're getting try again later. Go ahead.
Maybe it's the network. Digital Oracle, I greet you.
I greet you in
I
return.
greet the last caller and I greet the Mazi Destiny Anthony. About this medical doctor that the National Assembly are trying to pass the bill, except if it's the government that train my children for medical school, then they will now have the power to stop my children from going out of the country. Why are they traveling out for medical treatment? Why wouldn't they stay for this country to treat themselves? Then I will spend my money. Do you imagine maybe I spend my money for my child in the private university? He spend and he read medical. And somebody, because you thought, yes, we know chemistry is a difficult subject, and I say kudos to the chemistry teacher. But I spend my money to train my words, and you are asking me that they should stay here to stay and do what? I won't allow that to happen. I spend the money, and my child is there to take care of me at my own age. And how are they treating our doctors here? Why wouldn't they stay here to train, to go for it? Do you remember during Corona? Go to the National Hospital and see. Some of their toilet water could not even flush. Even the ordinary toilet. We are talking of talking of medical equipment.
Salasi, I need to put you on hold for 30 seconds. We need to go on a quick break.
Put me, I'm waiting.
Still work on my music skills. Let me use my talent well, I beg.
Hello, my name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.